What's up everyone, Nukin here, just had some lunch and looks like we have Captain Han Solo's kit and let's check it out. So Captain Han Solo. So at first glance he's got a pretty baller jacket. It's something that I would probably even wear myself in the winter time. He's a light side character, he's a rebel, we know that, but he's also a scoundrel, so that's neat. He's a support character and his description says, daring rebel support that risks himself to revive allies and daze enemies. So let's get on into this kit here. So it unlocks ? Available from more ? So we don't know how we're going to acquire this character. So that's interesting that they're keeping it a mystery. We do know that he unlocks at 4 stars, because if we look here, there's 4 stars here, and this looks like it's the unlock screen. So he's going to unlock at 4 stars, but we don't know how we're going to be able to acquire him. I do want to actually go back to the State of the Galaxy post from August 7th from Top Hat, and if we look down here, there's Organa. To unlock Rebel Officer Leia Organa, such a long name, we're going to call her Rolo by the way, you'll need to use Captain Han Solo to participate in a special mission in territory battles. So you're going to want Han Solo to get Organa, and also known as Rolo, and these two characters are probably going to be pretty good in territory battles. So let's go back to the kit and let's review it together. This is my first time looking at it. So basic attack, disabling shot. So here we have Captain Han Solo, and he's facing against Scar Saxon, who I think should have been the Empire version of Commander Luke. It never really caught on, the counterattacking Empire sort of type of squad, unfortunately, and I tried to get it to work briefly, but it didn't even compare to the Rebel counterpart, so I kind of gave up on that. It looks like he's going to daze characters, which kind of counterattacking squads and compositions, so I'm glad that I didn't get it rolling, because this guy would be a hard counter to that. So he's doing some okay damage, 3.6k without a crit, so that's comparable to other support characters. Scar Saxon is a tank, so that's alright versus a tank, and the cool thing is that it applies daze. So deal physical damage, so he doesn't deal special, he deals physical damage. He inflicts daze, and the extra thing here is Empire targets can't resist the daze, so that means you don't need any potency versus Empire units. I'm assuming that this is probably going to be very good against any sort of team that has 2 or 3 Empire characters. I wouldn't necessarily put him on your squad if the only Empire character that you're facing up against in Squad Arena is just a Thrawn or something like that. So continuing on, they can't evade, so that's interesting. I don't really like the way that they're doing this, where you can't resist, you can't evade. It's kind of boring. There's no counter strategy to it, but it looks like that's kind of the trend of how things are going. The analogy that I give out to other people is you wouldn't go to like a basketball game if every time a player shot the ball they swished it in the net, or if you went to a baseball game or something and every single hit was a home run. It would kind of get boring after that, and that's probably the reason why we don't do home run derbies every single day. So it takes out some of the counterplay. It's not as interesting and gets kind of boring. So, but it is what it is. It looks like you can't resist, you can't evade. So that's that. On top of that, deal double damage. So that is a lot of damage. And if Han is full health, he's going to gain 30% turn meter. So that's a ton of turn meter as well. So as long as you keep Han healthy and you're hitting Empire allies, he's actually going to go from support status to basically God attacker status. That's a lot of benefits from just a basic attack. Going on, we have a special ability called Hunker Down. It has a 10-second cooldown, reusable in 10 turns, so that's a big cooldown. It goes down to a cooldown of 8. I guess that's after you Omega it, or something like that. And the full ability reads, dispels all debuffs on Han, so it's a cleanse. You can focus it on a target ally, so you can cleanse them as well. So kind of like Thrawn, and they're both going to recover health equal to Han's max health. They're going to gain turn meter, 25% to be exact, and when the target ally has full health, they also recover 20% protection. So it's a pretty big heal, and if they're already full health, you can actually get some protection recovery, and protection recovery is good when it's in large quantity chunks. So that's what makes Thrawn good. Instead of this, recover 5% protection here and there for certain criteria, Thrawn just does a bulk 40% protection recovery move, and in Squad Arena that's pretty good. But this is on a cooldown of 8, so an 8-turn cooldown, so it's not going to really be arena viable. These moves look like he's going to be geared towards the PvE content like territory battles. So that's that. Going on to his other special ability, Search and Rescue. So here we have Captain Han Solo. Looks like we're in an arena match because there's a cooldown timer against some stormtroopers, and we had a dead Rolo, and he is reviving her. So it's a pretty cool animation. Unfortunately, she ends up dying right away, so that's kind of funny. But it says, revive a random defeated ally at 1% health and 0% turn meter. But if that ally is a rebel, they will recover 50% of their health and gain 50% turn meter. So you can revive anyone. It will be random, so you can't select the ally that you're reviving, but it's really geared towards reviving rebel allies because they're actually going to get a fighting chance because they're going to revive at 50% health and have half their turn meter back, so they can go pretty quickly after they're revived. This actually is interesting because it kind of synergizes with his other special when they don't have, you can revive someone and then you can heal them back up to full health with the first special, and even get their protection recovery going soon after that. So cooldown of 6, so it's shorter than the other ability, but still really long cooldown. And on top of that, revive hasn't really been a thing in Arena. Like, people have tried to get old Daka to work. People have tried to get Jin's reviving action going, and it just hasn't been a thing in Arena. It hasn't been a meta sort of strategy. So I think there's another sort of hint that this is a character geared towards PvE content. Going forwards, he has one unique. It's called Nick of Time. Captain Han Solo. I don't know what we're going to call this guy. There's so many Hans. It's going to start getting confusing. I guess CHS, but that's very similar to CLS. And when we get those two characters in a team, it's going to get confusing. But let's go on. He has 15% crit chance, 30% crit damage. Whoa, that's pretty good. Crit chance and crit damage. In addition, at the end of his turn, Han will recover health equal to 10% of his max health. If Han already has full health, the least healthy ally is healed instead. So that's pretty strong. He can heal people just by standing there. So that's good. and whenever Han uses his basic attack, he gains 10% max health stacking for 5 turns. Wow, that's pretty good as well. So you can charge up his max health to increase his healing capabilities, so you don't need to stack like 6 health mods on him when you use him. You just need to make sure that he's using his basic a lot. It just so happens we have a leader in the Rebel faction that provides Rebel characters counterattack, and whenever they counterattack, they're doing a basic. So defeat like 1 or 2 AoE attacks from the enemy side, and he'll be basically halfway or almost fully charged up there. So not too bad to charge him up, and I like how they do this general strategy, hero synergies type of thing. Like they're helping the players that are newer to the game kind of understand some of the mechanics. And yeah, let's see what they say here really quickly, and then we'll wrap up this video. Daze is one of the most powerful debuffs. I would tend to agree. Keeping Captain Han Solo healthy will go a long way. Yep, you want to protect your healers so they can get more mileage. Watch out for Boba Fett or Darth Nihilus, who can prevent revive. That is true. There are abilities that can prevent any character from being revived, but I don't think we'll be facing them in that game mode, because I think we're going to be facing mostly Empire characters because it's Hoth, and Boba Fett, although he worked for the Empire, he's not an Empire unit, and Darth Nihilus is from a whole different, basically a whole nother world, Knights of the Republic. So, hero synergies. Captain Han Solo, he fits with many of the meta Rebel leaders. Yeah, we briefly talked about Commander Luke. Annoying Rebel tanks such as Obi-Wan and Baze. Yep, those tanks are hard to take down, and then if you can revive them, they're going to get a lot more mileage, so I would agree with that. Hunker Down will heal protection much more often when Han Solo is paired with low health allies such as Turret, Wedge, or Biggs. And where to use him. Okay, so tackling territory battles. So they actually tell you. So I was hinting that it seemed like he was a PvE character, and this is a confirmation. Yeah, territory battles, you're going to use him. He's going to excel here. Many enemies encounter focus heavily on counterattack and turn meter gain, which Daze shuts down. So that's good. Counterattacking is a pain, and you're going to want to daze or stun those enemies. Alright, so that's Captain Han Solo's kit. I'm not going to go into much more depth than that until the character comes out. I think that, let's go back up to the top, I think that they're overdoing it with all these rebels, and even though he's really not an arena character, I think somebody's going to try to use at least Rolo or him in arena just to troll some of their Empire shardmates. So not a good feeling, especially his Daze. I think we need some more Daze for Empire to help counter the Rebel meta that's kind of started up in a lot of shards. I think that overall, he looks cool. He has a good kit for PvE, and you're gonna probably need him to get Rolo, like we stated earlier, so prepare to gear this guy up too, and I hope we find out how we can acquire him pretty soon. I'm not sure why it's a mystery. Maybe it's going to be difficult, so we'll have to see. Alright, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time.